This is nice. It's a beautiful evening. A few cars in the distance. A few birds singing. Not much of a wind. No stream, no mountains. It's actually a paid campsite, but I don't mind. It's still beautiful. Now this video is probably going to seem a little disjointed. And reason being is I haven't actually camped for a while. And the last time I was camping was in March. And there's a few things that I still was working on that I hadn't finished. So I'm going to have a little bit of that. Hopefully some new things and I don't know, just chill out. And enjoy it. Because in between wasn't very enjoyable. And it's not over yet. A lot of things change in this world, especially these days. However, there's still a sunset. And I'm going to enjoy it. As a transport truck thunders across the horizon, we'll fade to a quieter moment 2 months ago when the air was brisk and patches of snow still covered the ground. Now you might have noticed there's a vital part of my camper that's missing. The fridge. I sold it. Why? Because I'm getting a new one. Now the one that originally came with the trailer was a Alpicool, a high quality upright fridge especially made for RVs. It had a main storage area, door storage and a freezer. But I seldom even used that freezer and the fridge would have to use more energy because I couldn't shut it off. But the biggest flaw was the door. It only had room for 3 beer, and I had to use a pool noodle to keep them from rattling around. That's what's known as an ale fail. What do I use in the meantime for keeping things cold? I keep them right here, where it's cool. In the slim cooler. What a coincidence. If I need extra ice, simple. And if I'm worried about critters at night, I just put it right in there. Keeps it cool, keeps it safe. Well, today's box opening day. Because here's my new fridge. Now it's too big to open up in my trailer, so it's gonna have to be in the back of the Jeep. And here it is. My new Alpicool. All ready to roll. And this one's a lot bigger than the one I had before. Bigger size, takes up a little bit more space. Let's see if it'll fit in my camper. So a few weeks later, I finally got the Alpicool installed. Same place as the old refrigerator. I did have to make some modifications. I had to put some trim around it because it was just a rough cut when I took the other one out. However, there it is. And people may ask, why is it you got another Alpicool? Why don't you try other brands? Well, I could have, but the issue was it had to fit in this spot. And other ones were either too fat, too tall, too long, or too expensive. So yes, I did get another Alpicool, and yes, I paid full price for it out of my money. They don't give me any deals, believe me. Here it is. What I did was to keep it in place, I've got two straps, and I just undo the buckle right there, and I put rollers underneath, just furniture rollers like before, so it slides out, and then just a little bit more and it locks in place right like that. And there it is. All my stuff that needs refrigerating, including lots of room for beer, of course. I have yet to fill this up completely. I just don't carry a lot of stuff. And I like that it has a little light. I don't know if you can see that or not. So if you're snacking at midnight, you can still see what's in there. Use it like that, and then I just give it a little nudge. Back it goes. Put the strap on. And it's good. Power consumption is just under 35 watts when running, but it's only on a few minutes every hour to keep your beer the perfect temperature. You like my map in North America? You gotta love Canada, and you gotta love Alberta. I've loved it for many, many years. However, it looks like it's time for me to move on. I'm going to be leaving Alberta. I'm going to be leaving Calgary. Basically, it's health reasons. I am a migraine sufferer, and one of the worst places to be in all of North America is Calgary. It's because of the Chinook winds, the constantly changing of temperature and weather. It's been good to me. I'm gonna miss it. So, here's to Calgary. With my blast from the past now over, it's time to travel back to the present. In East Saskatchewan, there's a little expanse of woodland that gives relief to the grasslands of the prairies. It's called the Fieldstone Campground. If you listen closely, you can hear some red-winged blackbirds singing away. But what you'll also hear is traffic. Cars and trucks going by. And other man-made noises, because I'm not in pristine wilderness. I'm in a little roadside campsite. But it doesn't matter. I can filter out all the noise of the trucks and the other campers and just hear those beautiful songs by the birds. By nightfall, the birds were asleep, while the people of the highways continued on their journeys. I made a few notes, then surrendered to the darkness. The morning sun gave a glimmer of hope to an old abandoned church. Later in the day, I took a stroll through a meadow, seeing if anything interesting catches my lens. This, apparently, is a 13-lined ground squirrel, although I only counted 6. He did, however, have 13 spots on each row. Seems he was determined to have a staring contest. Haha, you blinked first, loser. And here is a Richardson ground squirrel enjoying a dandelion salad. Being a vegetarian, we kinda connected, so I invited him over. This little guy has decided to go in my trailer. Curious. Thank you. Come back again. Well, it's time for dinner, and I don't know what to eat. Better check the cupboards. And this one, I have some Mutter paneer, which is fresh green peas and cottage cheese cooked in delicious creamy gravy. Sounds groovy. Vegetarian, by the way, and cheap. I picked these up for like $2 or $3 each. But I typically have something like that with rice. That's how you're supposed to serve it. Something like this, maybe. But I want something different. Craft dinner, now that would be different. But I think what would be a little bit better would be elbow macaroni. I just have to boil it up in a pot with a little water, and while I'm cooking that, I throw in the poach. Heats it up, and no dishes. I don't like dishes. With a plate full of hot and tender macaroni, I pour the Mutter paneer over it as a sauce. Next comes some steamed fiddleheads, and the final garnish is baby dandelion leaves. Not bad looking for a 5-minute meal. Well, I already filmed it, so now I hope I can just eat it. Oh, that is good. That is really good. India meets Italy meets slim potato head. Oh yeah, by the way, when I was picking the little baby dandelion leaves for this, a tick went on my finger. So yes, it is tick season, and Always have a little tick repellent or whatever. Lots of tight clothing, which I don't have right now. Hopefully they're not in the trees here. Be careful of ticks. Back on the pond, everything is so peaceful. However, here come the geese. If there's ever a bird that'll spoil a songbird sonata, it's the Canada goose. Loudmouth of the pond party, he really represents the foul part of waterfowl. It causes the other birds to scowl, stare, and scatter. Soon he has the whole pond to himself. This is the back of my camper, and a lot of you are familiar with my solar panel and its supports. But one thing I haven't talked about, lately at least, is my rear camera. On this type of trailer, I think a rear camera is essential because especially when you're driving down the highway, you don't know if there's like a motorcycle behind you. And when you're backing into a site, it's also really good to know what's behind there. Now, the reason I've been putting off a review of this particular one is because I had two others by different companies and they both failed miserably. So I was a little hesitant to go to a third one until I'd fully tested it. Now I have used this for a few months and I can say, yes, it does work. I've mounted it right on the solar panel. I wanted it high. You can mount it wherever you want. And hopefully it keeps some of the dust off it. It still gets the rain, but I'm okay with that. It works during the day and it also works during the night. You can see the image reasonably well at nighttime, and it actually even has infrared lights on the back. Handy little guy. It's got an antenna right there. And what I did is I wired it underneath the solar panel. It goes round to the front and it goes in where the vent is. So it's hardwired inside the camper. And the antenna transmits it to the monitor. I like it. It works. It's made by Amtifo, which is a goofy name, but as long as it works, I don't care. Let me show you where the monitor is. Now, as for the monitor, it sits right here. It came with a bracket, and I think it's supposed to mount on a flat surface. Well, in my Jeep, I really didn't have one. I had this sort of little pocket thing for pens and cell phones, and it didn't fit in there perfectly, so I had to make my own adapter. And here's what I did. I've used Velcro, and see, it's flat like that. I made a little piece of wood with Velcro on the back and a couple of screws and Velcro there so that it just sits like that, and it's pretty secure. To turn it on, you just turn the key on and press a button. Oh, by the way, I'll just show you, it has the 12-volt adapter. You just plug it into your cigarette lighter and turn that on, and there's the picture. And let me just take that off so you can see it. But that's the back of my trailer right now. Yeah, nice picturesque forest scene. It works well. It's handy. I like the position. It does record, and I'll show you that. There is a record button. You just press OK, and you can actually record what's happening. It's set up for 4 cameras, but I only have one. There's only one in the back of the trailer, but it will take up to 4. Kind of handy, good resolution. What I really like about this screen is that it's pretty close to accurate time-wise. There's not much of a lag, so if you're looking at it and you see a car about to pass you, you'll look and he is actually coming to your side. So overall, I'm very pleased. Now, I did have an issue with this thing. It would be working and all of a sudden it would change to another screen which would be blank and I'd have to reset it, or it would go to a directory, or all of these weird things were happening and I couldn't figure out, well, is it wrecked? Did I bust something? Is it just defective? Wasn't any of those at all. I was trying to do something I shouldn't have done. I thought, well, I got this neat thing here. Why not just use this to hold my cell phone? Great idea. It's up handy and I can still use that space. Bad idea, because it turns out the cell phone interferes with the signal coming from the camera and all kinds of weird things happen. So keep your cell phone well away from this monitor and you'll be fine. Sun starts going down, sweater goes on, and the beer comes out. Gonna keep it a little cozy. It's not that I'm trying to hide that it's a sneaky weasel. However, it's easier on the hands. Nice. Hey, bunny. There's a bunny in the background there. If you can see it. So what's the future for me? I don't know. You know, I was forced to take a little bit of a break and I'm dying to get back out, but with all the restrictions, it's tough. I don't know how much material I'm going to have or opportunity I'm going to have. So, yeah, you might see more gaps. Well, you know what? You will see more gaps. But when things open up again, I'm going to have a lot more opportunities and a lot more videos. That's a guarantee. So, stay in touch. And always enjoy camping. Go where the road always takes you, or whatever I used to say. I don't really have a slogan anymore. I don't really give a rat's patootie for slogans. Enjoy life, enjoy the wilderness, enjoy camping, and enjoy a good beer. I hope you enjoy this video, and check out my other ones as well. As my trailer casts a tall shadow on the pavement, I head out on the horizon once more. Till next time.